Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fall. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up.
Question, and if you look at what I said, you will see that that question was answered perfectly. And I was talking about people that went because they felt very strongly about the monument to Robert E. Lee, a great general, whether you like it or not. He was one of the great generals. I've spoken to many generals here, right at the White House, and many people thought of the generals, they think that he was maybe their favorite general. People were there protesting the taking down of the monument of Robert E. Lee. Everybody knows that.
He's a jackass.
He is. He's actually a clear and present danger. This was a very emotional weekend, I have to say. So welcome back to it, everybody. Time to shine our little lights. Time to shine our little lights, because a little light can move a lot of darkness. And that is our job now. Our job now is to remove the freaking darkness from this here country, which is ate up with hatred. There is so much hate in this country, and it's all over the place. And it's, I mean, I was reading today, you know, everything that we had lived through over the weekend with this another shooter, another white supremacist. This one is a nursing student. He was a 19-year-old nursing student. I mean, he's like Annie Wilkes in Misery, that kind of nurse. Remember her? She was a psycho. This was unbelievable. So you had a 19-year-old somehow get himself an AK and go into the Chabad on the last day of Passover, which is the day that we memorialize and light candles for and pray for our dead. That is what the last day of Passover is about. It's the day that we light those Yucksite candles. And my house looks like a freaking forest fire with all the candles I have to light now and all the prayers we have to say. And this man decides that on that day, he's going to go into a tiny little town, 50,000 people, Poway, California. And he's going to, and thank God he was the moron that couldn't shoot straight. Because what happened was his freaking gun jammed. And he ran away. Otherwise, we would have had something in the order of what we had in Sri Lanka, or something in the order of that we had at the Tree of Life. I mean, this is just disgusting. I don't know what to say about it anymore, except to tell you that we have to shine our lights. The only thing that can beat back this kind of hatred is love, understanding, good deeds, kind works, smiling at each other. Seriously, it's those small little things that change a culture. And our culture needs changing. We have a president who stood on a stage this weekend. And, you know, this is kind of creepy. Karen and Steve, you know, they're my best friends. Karen and Steve came over because we were at their house for Passover. You know, we posted that video. If you're wondering where, that was Karen and Steve's house. And so we were at Passover last weekend at their house. So this weekend I kind of said, just come over, you know, we'll have hamburgers and hang out and watch movies. And they came over, and it was Saturday night, and Trump was in Wisconsin. And I have to tell you, no one wanted to watch this. I didn't want to watch it. Karen didn't want to watch it. Steve didn't want to. You know who wanted it? Howard wanted to watch it. Howard was like, I waited all day for this. This is getting creepy, okay? This is getting like, you can see the effect that this man has on otherwise normal people. No, I want to watch. I waited all day. I want to hear. And this is what I was saying on the After Hours podcast. I wake up every morning to, he tweeted. He's tweeting like crazy. Some people are just fascinated by, I guess it's the audacity. I guess it's by, you know, the stupidity, the audacity, the spirit in which Trump seems to be unafraid to say racist things, unafraid to call people baby killers and demand that doctors be sentenced to the death penalty if they somehow are present for the birth of a baby that's born without working lungs or a working brain. I mean, and doctors tell the parents the situation and the parents cry. There are bereavement teams in hospitals that help parents get through this stuff. And the president decided to stand on a stage in Wisconsin. This was my Saturday night, listening to him say that, that Democrats are baby killers. I swear to God, that's how low this went.
The baby is born. The mother meets with the doctor. They take care of the baby. They wrap the baby beautifully. And then the doctor and the mother determine whether or not they will execute the baby. I don't think so. Incredible. No, it's incredible. Until this crazy man in Virginia said it, nobody even thought of that, right? Did anyone even think of that? You hear late term. But this is where the baby is actually born. It came out. It's there. It's wrapped. And that's it. Who believes it?
Who believes it? Who believes it? Hopefully no one, but that whole audience believed it. And people watching that believe it. And old people sitting in their lazy boys believe it. This is really sick. Now, there was a nurse. She tweets, threads of importance, things that people must know about difficult scenarios and difficult situations and difficult, jobs that nurses actually have in our hospital. This woman was, she's a neonatal intensive care unit nurse, and she serves on one of the bereavement teams that we have in our hospitals in neonatal units. And she heard this too. And I have to tell you, it simply takes your breath away, because there are people out there that could be thrown into violent mode if they think that what he just said there is remotely true. And of course, it isn't. It isn't. She said, "We are a special team of nurses, tough enough to help new parents go through the worst day of their lives. Parents of babies who had fought so hard for their tiny little lives and aren't going to make it. And parents of babies who, after they were born and wouldn't have their mom's body keeping them alive, would die rather quickly. As these small bodies were failing, it was our job to be there with the parents. At every step, give them support, do our best to make some memories of their precious babies that could help ease their impending and overwhelming grief. When heroic measures fail, or a baby without a brain, or a working lung, or a working heart is born, we know the end is near, and we encourage the parents to be present in these final moments. We place the babies skin to skin with mom, and we place blankets over them. We lower the lights and quiet the room. We have as much or as little family and that the parents want in the room. We sing songs, we pray, we hug, we sway, we all cry. I cried until my throat burned for this family who had just had to endure the unthinkable, who were in the moment. We were in the moment with those families. We took pictures, even for the ones who were too traumatized to think that they would ever want to see them, just in case they did. We made footprints. We put a lock of hair into a ribbon. We measured the baby's length and marked it on tape measure. We made special tiny white gowns and hats for our angels. We created a memory box for these families who were losing their child that day. So yes, there are those in hospitals who are around these infants who pass. They are the bereavement teams, and they provide the equivalent of neonatal hospice to families who are living through absolute hell. Babies and children die. It's a sad part of life. But no one, absolutely no one, ever in any hospital, nor any mother who has just given birth, is conspiring with a doctor on whether they want to commit infanticide. This is perhaps one of the sickest accusations levied by this deranged dictator yet. Don't believe a word he says about anything important. Let me tell you something. I'm sitting there, I'm arguing, turn this off, I don't want to hear. And then he says crap like this, and you know you have to say something. People know they have to do something. People understand that this kind of propaganda is spurring people into violent mode. It was so sick because this is what we were talking about on Friday. And people were telling me, why do you have to go there? And then it happened.
Go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.